All right, good morning, everybody. What is up? It is January 31st, 2024. I think it's Wednesday morning. Man, I haven't been making as many videos as much lately. I've just been busy with different stuff. But I wanted to try to do one today. And I wanted to talk about a very valuable thing in fighting that I don't feel gets talked about enough. And I'm going to call it reflection. I'm going to try. I feel like y'all always have to look up my nose, so I'm trying to hold it where you won't have to. But, all right, so in reflection, what I'm meaning, you'll hear a lot of different things from me if you train with me or if you watch any of my videos of how I analyze stuff. Like, part of why I teach how to touch instead of hitting is because if you watch two people go hard in a sparring match, they'll only spend about 20 seconds actually in a moment where they can hit each other in the entire 3 minutes. So it's very little practice. There's a lot of things like that where I've taken my own form and understanding why, and then in addition with the going light and touching, you're able to train more often. You get more practice in. Also composure and things like that. But something really fundamental in fighting is being able to think clearly, process your thoughts, being calm, not being caught up in adrenaline, pressure, overwhelm, stress. And every person is going to be different. Some people don't get stressed out very easily. I'm someone who gets overwhelmed and stressed very easily with like social stuff. My interactions with people more than a physical side of stuff, if that makes any sense. But the way I've been able to figure all this stuff out and be able to articulate and then teach it is through reflection. Now, as much as I listen to other fighters and podcasts, and I do a lot of background watching, I believe this idea of reflection occurs in a lot of people. A lot of the concepts that I teach really occur in a lot of people. They just don't recognize they're doing them, or they call it something different and have a slightly different perspective. So like Corey Sandhagen, he talks about meditation. He's probably, he's an intuitive person, like the way he thinks and stuff, but he might be using meditation for what I'm calling reflection. Now, if you think meditation with that is perspective as well. So if I say meditation, or I hear someone talk about meditation, years ago, I would have thought they're kind of sitting there with their legs crossed, kind of holding hands out like this and maybe humming or something. And they're kind of like, I don't even really know the point, emptying their thoughts or something, maybe trying to flow. Like those are early thoughts with meditation. And that information just came from TV, movies. I don't know where I got the idea that that's what meditation is. But really, we have to take time to sit and think about what occurred and analyze it. And we can't just run with it as soon as we have a thought. You have to challenge the thought. So when I'm saying reflection, what I'm saying is, like, say I have a practice. I do this with the people I teach. I used to do this for myself, but now I spend more time teaching than I do improving myself. So my reflection now revolves around trying to express ideas I've already figured out to people, or figuring out ideas they need to have shown to them. But like, you don't have to video around to reflect. But I'm at a point where I video a lot of stuff, and then I go back and I watch it. Now, you might call that watching tape or whatever, but what I'm doing is I'm analyzing what has already occurred, and I start asking myself why. That's a question I ask myself a lot when I'm reflecting, is why. Okay, this person in this moment of a fight I'm watching, fighter A is standing there with their hands up, and fighter B charges them throwing ones and twos. And we're pretending I'm fighter A, and I take a step back and I cover. So in my reflection, when I'm watching that, I'm like, why did I take a step back and cover? people will make a mistake and give textbook answers with things instead of being honest with themselves. That's something really crucial when you learn from me, is I'll talk about being honest with yourself. No one can tell you how to do anything. You have to understand and be able to apply it for yourself. A lot of things can't be taught, they can only be learned. And we can do things to try to make it easier to learn, but I'm a big believer in a lot of things aren't truly understood until someone's performing it and they feel it. Dang, I kind of lost my train of thought in that. Reflection. All right, so the person charges me, we'll say they throw ones and twos, and I take a step back and I cover. And I ask myself, why? Okay, someone might say, it's because you don't want to get hit. Or, someone might analyzing themselves, well, I don't want to get hit. Well, I didn't want to get hit 3 seconds before then, and I didn't take a step back and covered. I didn't want to get hit the entire 3 minutes of the fight, but I didn't spend all 3 minutes taking a step back and cover. And we really have to start analyzing like that. So my next step is, well, that's literally not why I backed up. So I backed up because he got in my personal space and I wasn't comfortable. That's the true reason why I took a step back. I wasn't comfortable. He was inside my range, which isn't where I want to fight. So I didn't feel secure, didn't feel like I was where I wanted to be. So I instinctively moved back. So how do I counter that? Or better question is, do you want to move back? What benefit is there to moving back? Be okay, you increase range, and then I do things differently. A lot of times people will follow a path, but when I want to start applying innovation, and this has happened a bunch of times back years ago, fire charged me, overwhelmed me. One day I was like, what if I just stand here? I just covered and stood there. And that's when I started finding my eyes. Then I hit a day, I was like, well, if the moment he comes forward, I run forward and start throwing, let's see what happens. And I'd land a punch or whatever, and he would miss. My range was longer. So, in summary, the reflection is going back and analyzing what happened and then being honest with yourself about why you did it. Don't give yourself a textbook answer. You have to be very, very literal as to why, or else you're not going to progress. So, like I was saying, the right answer isn't I didn't want to get hit. I didn't want to get hit the entire time. Something changed in the moment. He got within my range, and when I'm honest with myself, I wasn't comfortable with someone being that close. So I was trying to create distance. There's 1,000 different ways to go with this. So I could be like, how do I create distance? Do I create distance with my feet? Do I create distance by punching and making them back up? Do I push them? Do I make a brace with my arm to where they can't close the space? Like put my fist on their forehead and leave it there. There's a bunch of different routes you can go. And then as you go those routes, you decide, you figure out what works and what happens. But you don't make the mistake of being like, well, if I go forward, they're going to go backwards. Like you actually have to go and test all this. But so just in this one little example of reflection, I've probably named off like 6 different directions we can go, and I've barely touched the tip of the iceberg. But yeah, that's going to be my video today. I'm approaching 9 minutes, talking about reflection. Reflection is basically taking time to analyze what has happened, kind of like studying film, and then being honest with yourself about why things happened, and then innovating from that, deciding what you want to do different. Or you could have done something really good. You're like, why did I throw a hook when he threw the jab? Oh, I didn't just throw the hook. I slipped and saw the punch and threw the hook. So I saw the opening by slipping. Like there's 1,000 steps to it, and it's all, I don't know, it's all real beautiful. But yeah, that's my video today, reflection. Cody Brett's mom is still a hoe, and Orlab, baby.